Everyone, welcome to the Police Commission meeting tonight, August 14th, 2024.
Recording in progress.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Police Commission Wednesday, August 14, 2024. I would like first to do a roll call. Robert?
Ron Russ. Robert McCarthy.
Richard Antonetti.
David Genetti.
Richard Rossi.
Carmine Verno.
I'm going to appoint someone as, because Jamie's not here, you want to appoint someone?
Let's see, Jamie's absent.
Yeah. You want to-
Carmine, I would like to appoint you as a regular member for Jamie.
Thank
Okay, thank you, Carmine. Next matter on the agenda is public participation. When you do come up, there's microphones that will be on. If you have something to say, we are here to listen, and maybe we can help. So please come up to the mics. Good evening. Just state your name and address, please. The light should be on.
Well, I'll move over. Okay. Catherine Camera, 31 Cottage Place in Oakville. After Memorial Day, I had asked about that truck that parks on the town green and flies the huge, very beautiful, gorgeous American flag, but it advertises its business. And I got crickets. I asked the Recreation Department for the contract between the town and the Good Old Boys Tree Service, and there isn't one. So I once again will remind everyone that if there is an incident with that vehicle, the town will surely have a liability issue, which may not be covered by insurance since there is no contract. Then, for 3 or 4 days over the 4th of July holiday, that beautiful flag was flying once again from the truck with the business advertising clearly visible. So the town obviously doesn't care about liability or advertising on town property. So when I put a nice flag in my back pocket and I carry a sign on the green, maybe it's going to say vote for me. Nothing's going to happen to me, right? Because the precedent has been set. So I don't expect any issues. There's a precedent set of being able to advertise on town property as long as you have a flag. So that's what I plan to do. Something else, several meetings back, I brought up the fact that it is intimidating to have a police officer at the ready during town council meetings. Not only has that practice started up again, but the officers wait in the parking lot until everyone leaves. Can the public be told what the purpose of that is? Should we be concerned about our safety when we attend a meeting? If they're there for my safety, since I appear to be the only resident who gets bullied by the council, I do appreciate the thought, but I would prefer our officers be out on the street. So I'm asking, can we be told what the purpose is of having an officer sit at the back of the meeting and keep an eye on everyone? I want to know if someone has brought a gun into the town hall. There obviously has to be some reason for that behavior, and that we need somebody there. Is it possible? You said I could ask questions, so I'd like to know if it's possible to find out.
So 2 points you want to make. One, the truck with advertising on it, and also parking on a sidewalk. I see your point there, and I don't know what they do with the flag. Do they put the flag on a extension on their truck?
Yeah, but the main issue is that the truck is fully advertising their business. I have no problem with the flag. It's great. It's wonderful. I do question where it's parked because it's a liability for the town. If we don't have a contract, we should at least have a contract that this truck's going to park there for so many days. There's got to be some insurance there to cover if anything happened. But more so, I didn't think we could advertise on public property, and so it appears that we can.
So if the truck did not have an advertisement, as you're saying, on the truck, you would be happy that the truck would be there with the flag?
Yes, but there's still the issue of a contract of some sort with the town as to it being parked there and who's liable if something happens. Should there be some sort of an accident involving that truck, it's on town property. Who's liable? It would be a fight. I can tell you that. I work in the business, so I don't understand why we don't have some kind of an agreement with the company that does that. So it's twofold. There's two issues I see there.
Okay, I will tell you that I will tomorrow call the town manager and ask him what his position is on it, and if there's a liability, how can we correct that problem, okay?
Yes, I appreciate that.
Okay.
And the last thing was, I'd like to know if we have an idea as to why the police are at town council meetings, if there's something happening that the public should know about, because it's a little concerning to me.
I can answer that if you like, Chair.
Sure, if you would, Chief.
Several months back, the town manager called me directly stating that the chair of the town council was requesting a police officer at future town council member meetings just due to some of the meetings being contentious, and felt that it would just be a safer atmosphere if a police officer were present.
Is it possible for me to find out when that happened? Do you have an email or something? I'm curious.
I'm not sure if it was verbal or email. I'd have to check my emails.
Okay, so it's strictly she thinks there's some issue there or something that.
Just that there were some contentious meetings, and felt that it would be a safer environment with a police officer present.
Interesting. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Please come to the microphone. Is there? I just have a question. Could you come to the mic and state your name and your address, please?
My name is Thomas Dellacamera. I live at 190.
Yeah.
Right at the microphone, sir.
Sure, no problem.
Just so we can hear you.
This one or which one? This
The one with the light on.
Okay.
Thank you. Name and address,
I
please.
feel like I'm in Hollywood. I'm here tonight
Could you
because
state your name and
my name.
address?
Okay, my name is Thomas Dellacamera. I live at 191 Tucker Avenue in Oakville,
Thank you.
and my family has lived there since 1927. Okay, so it's almost 100 years. And over the last few years, I've been having problems with speeding on Front Street. Okay, there's a section of road by Massey's Farm up into the corner at the top where it's just a straightaway, and they use it as a racetrack. Recently it was just, or before this it was just cars. Now it's race rockets, motorcycles that are up and down that road, okay? All hours of the day and night. And it's very annoying. And I was wondering if there's anything in progress let's try to stop some of this. I know that over the last couple of weeks, I see the police cars on French Street. They're parked on the sidewalk, but you get the lights flickering and nothing's done. They don't stop anybody. It's just a waste of time. And because we're getting a lot of traffic because of the backup at Main Street, we're getting a lot of traffic on the side streets as well. Okay. Last night we had motorcycles up there with no muffler, a chopper. You can't even hear yourself think. I'm on the phone talking to people in business and talking to them, they say, "Where are you? What's going on?" I can't even tell them because I'm involved in this motorcycle going by with no muffler. And before someone gets hurt, they almost did back on Tarbell, but before someone gets hurt, somebody better address this. There were two children in cars. The car got almost cut in half. I happened to see a news article just this morning when I was looking in the newspaper. I have a news article about motorcycles and crashes. They had, I think it's in, I don't know whether it's in the fatal motorcycle in Connecticut. 42 people have died on motorcycles already. Okay? So, when I was away, see, I travel, and I'm not in tune to what's going on in this town. I travel to Massachusetts to see my grandkids. And so I'm not in tune to, but when I come back, It's just shocking to see what's happened. And how they work in Massachusetts. If they have a problem like this, they put in a turnaround. Or they put, not stops, like stop strips, but you know what they call them?
Speed bumps.
Speed bumps. They put them in the roads. Because I've been there, I've witnessed myself. Neighbors have gotten to the departments, they've talked to them, okay, and said, we can't do this anymore. We can't have people speeding up and down the road. We have small children. So they said, okay, fine. If they don't pay attention to the law, then we'll put speed bumps. And they did. And I've been talking about this on and off for about 3 or 4 years, but it goes nowhere. I've met with the chief. I've met with the town manager. I've met with all these different people. They've done nothing. And we're going to wait until we get this in the street with somebody dead. And I look at it and I say, I'm not going to go up and pick that person up off the road because they're going to be in a tree. All right? And you want to know something? It's within our neighborhood. It's people in our neighborhood. A rot is inside our neighborhood. Okay? It's not outside people. It's inside people. And I've given that information to the police department on many occasions, and it's gone nowhere. Now, if I can't settle it here, I'll find out other means to get it done. And I'm just not going to put up with it. If you look back at that accident over on Tarbell, on Tarbell, there was those 2 little children in the back of that truck. See, it was cut in half, the truck. And I'm not going to wait for that to happen.
I have a question. Tucker Avenue, help me out. I've lived in Watertown 81 years, so, you know.
Right.
But is it toward the high school or up the other hill?
I live on, you're familiar with Massey's Farm?
I am.
Okay, so if you come up from Massey's Farm on the left, I go up and there's a little bit of a bend. And there's like Saunders, Flag, Tucker.
So it's heading toward
Tucker.
Buckingham.
You're starting to go up, but what they do, right, you're going
Okay.
up towards Buckingham.
I know, yeah.
And I thought about talking about turnarounds or, the bumpers and stopping them from, bumps from stopping them to go too fast. But that is needed by the police department. That's a vital tool for them to get to accidents and emergencies. And I'd be only cutting my own throat to do that. Because when my father was sick, the police department and the fire department were excellent. Excellent. He called up, give you a little story. One day he said, I think I can't breathe. So I said, let me call 911. He said, call 911. We used to call it the cavalry. Call the cavalry. So I called up, and then he says, oh, don't worry about it. I'm okay. So, oh, wait a minute. We got the cavalry coming. And I said to the young lady on the phone, I said, could you cancel that? She said, they're already at your door. They're already at my door.
Wonderful.
Okay? And they stayed with him for an hour to make sure he was all right. So that's not an option. To shut that road down by a rotary or any impediment to stop the speed is not an option. You got to look at the people that are doing it. And I don't give them their names because I don't know their names. But I've got their addresses. There's 4 of them. So I want to know what you're going to be doing something about it, because it's just, we have people in the neighborhood, they're too afraid to say anything. They don't want to say anything. They don't want to cause any problems. Right?
Yeah, Mr. Delacamera, I'd be happy to meet with you again if you have additional information that you want to share and specific addresses. We can have chats with those residents again, but again, we can't take enforcement action based on your observations.
Okay.
We would have to have those individuals on radar or laser with a certified instrument in order to take enforcement action with them. But certainly we could have a conversation with them.
So if I take a picture or I take a video of them doing this, that's not going to be enough.
Well, if you have a video and that possibly could be enough. But we would have to know who in particular is driving the vehicle.
Well,
But wait, I'd be happy to meet with you and have further
but there's also,
discussions on.
when I bring
think-
these to the police department's attention, I get all the reasons why they can't do it.
Well, you have to understand, we have to work within the Constitution of the United States. We can't take enforcement action on an individual without having
Cause.
probable cause.
Yeah, I understand that. And
So I think a meeting with the chief, that something can be worked out. If
I've
you
had a
have-
meeting with the chief, sir.
Pardon me?
I've had a meeting with the chief. I've had a meeting with the town manager, talked about this.
Yeah, we conduct radar and laser on that road quite often. You've seen them out there in the past couple of weeks. The fact of the matter is French Street, as you know, is built, it's built for speed. It's a wide road, it's a smooth road. It is built for a lot more than 25 miles per hour.
Right.
And because of that, people drive faster than 25 miles an hour. People will drive to what they feel comfortable at on any given roadway, regardless of what the speed limit sign says. So it becomes a continuous struggle. Putting in traffic calming measures like rotaries and speed humps and things like that, you know, are certainly things that the town of Watertown can take into consideration, but there's an extreme cost that does come
On that
with engineering facets like that.
That particular stretch of road, I don't think you should, that would be foolish. Because, you know, you have large vehicles from the fire department that use that, they have to come up there at a pretty good rate of speed. And,
But if you end up with any videos, things along that line that you'd want to share, certainly
I've
do
actually-
come down and do so.
I have actually looked into different incidents that I had and everything, and I got all the names, and but when I give it to the department, they somehow, it gets lost. How do I explain this? I don't mean to go back in history, but I have one that I had a problem with, okay? I was being harassed every day, okay? And they were giving me all this, well, there's nothing we could do about it. That's their rights. They could do this, they could do that, right? And you met with me, you assigned it to a person. When I went, so that incident happened again. I went to, I was on a Saturday, I believe it was. The incident happened again. I went to go back on the Monday to see the officer that you assigned it to. He was on vacation for 2 weeks. Talked to the people in the department, nobody knew anything about it. And that's the way it goes with it.
Well, I think you got the assurity of the chief, and we have the assurity of the commission that it will be looked into, but what is necessary, and I don't expect you to put out into the public names and dates or anything
No,
like
I'm
that.
not,
No. In confidence with the chief, and the chief will take and analyze the material that you have and explain to you how it could be legally or illegally information that is gathered, but it has to be within the law, and the chief is the guy that you will work with. I am confident that meeting with him, you will get some resolution. Is that enough for you tonight?
Mr. Chair, through you.
Yes.
Hi. Mr. Della Camera did speak to me recently about these issues. I happen to live down the street from him.
Right.
And I have seen the police out there on several occasions on French Street. It's assuring to see that. And they're parked on different spots on French Street and in the appropriate place. It's that hill. There seems to be, the cars get some momentum coming down French Street from the high school, and it's almost like a challenge when they go up the other hill. How fast can I go? And I do hear on the weekends, I do hear the motorcycles, mainly on Saturdays and Sundays.
like on a Saturday night, you hear them in the distance.
But I also hear a lot of sirens, so I agree with you that that route is very important for emergency vehicles in town,
Yes.
so we have to proceed with caution. Chief, I was just wondering if, besides the continuing radar enforcement, can we move that speed sign that's down at Riverside. It's been there quite some time. Maybe move it up to whatever place you deem fit up on French Street. That may help also. They can't be there all the time.
Well,
So-
here's, David, not for anything, but, like on a Saturday night, you're sitting there and you hear them coming, the rice rockets, the faster ones. They get down by Massey's, they rev up and rev up and rev up, come up that street like they're shot out of a gun, all right? And then they pull into your next door neighbor's yard.
Chief, is there a noise ordinance in place on vehicles, et
That was the
cetera?
other thing I have to ask him about, is that mufflers. Does a chopper, when I had a motorcycle, I had a muffler. Does a chopper, are they exempt from having mufflers? I mean, 'cause I wanna
No
know.
vehicle with a combustion engine is exempt from having a muffler. So they do have to have baffles within the muffling system to be legal, and there is a motor vehicle statute that covers that.
They don't, so it's my truck needs it, it's 12 years old, 13 years old, it's gonna need a muffler. Should I put one on? Or should I go get some gadget to make it, be like everybody else?
Yeah, well, this is definitely
'Cause
a
it's gonna-
topic we can address
Well,
at roll call as well.
I'm just throwing that out to you because, it's not until this happens that somebody's going to do something about it. If you want to take a look at it, it's the deaths in Connecticut. There's 42 deaths with motorcycles. I don't know how many people have to die before we stop this.
And you will make an appointment with the chief? Am I,
But like I said, he didn't
What's-
even know my name.
pardon me?
He didn't know my name a year later. I remember when I went into your office and I said, I presented myself because I wanted to renew what was going on. And you said, who are you? I said, Tom Del Cameron. And he said, the guy, and I had to go through what we talked about. Now, the excuse is you see a lot of people in the course of the day. I was in business. I thought thousands of people did, but I remember their names.
My apologies.
And when I gave, what I did is, you gave me instructions when I was in there about the harassment thing, okay? You told me not to get involved, to call an officer, he would be available, you put him, that never happened, okay? And then I took it upon myself that one night, it's somebody in town. They're on the fire department. If they're on the fire department, they have some association with the Watertown Fire Department, okay? And it just got buried. And they kept putting all these roadblocks up for me that I had to do. But that person went on, never got called up on it.
I'd be happy to meet with you again, and I know your name now. It should be good. So feel free to stop down.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Can I just approach?
Yeah,
You want to pass this along?
thank you.
And that vehicle that's in that picture is similar to what the one was on Prince Street. I mean, that truck, I was out of town, but I saw that truck, I could not believe it. I could not believe that. T-boned it, the two young kids in the backseat. One in one vehicle and one on the other, because they had a couple of vehicles.
Thank you.
There you go.
Good evening, sir.
Good
State your
evening, Gary
name.
Lafferty, 214 Belden Street, Watertown.
Thank you.
I grew up in the neighborhood that the last fellow was talking about, and years ago, before they reconstructed French Street, between Tucker and Tarbell, there's a big hump. So like if you're coming from Buckingham Street towards Main Street, and when you reach Tarbell to go to Tucker, there's like a blind spot you can't see because they were supposed to lower that part of the road years ago, but I think it's all full of ledge, so they bypassed that. But I think it was like in the late 60s, early 70s, there was a fatality at Tarbell and on French Street, and another person almost got killed at Tucker and French Street, around the same time area. But so I just want you to be aware of that. So that if there's something they can do, it'll be worthwhile for the neighborhood.
Thank you, Councilman. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Please come to the mic. Anyone else would like to speak? Anyone else? Let us move on the agenda. Continue forward. We have a June 12th, 2024. We need approval. I would take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, hearing none, motion is carried unanimously. Moving down to new business. Today, the new business is something which many of our members of the commission took time out to go down to Bethel to see a new police commission, or I should say police department. And I think, as I was awed with the facility that was there as compared to our ancient facility, I guess some 45 years, is shocking. So what we must do and get some idea of when are we going to build a new police facility. We have 42 officers that come in every day to work, and it is not a facility that is, I think, appropriate for working conditions. I know right now the process is dealing with heating and cooling the offices that are there. The cells are ancient with bars, metal bars. And again, it's a hazard, I think, for our people to go to work every day. 42 officers have the assignment of protecting every citizen in this town. We are responsible for their lives, and I think it would be appropriate to provide them an adequate facility in which to go to work. That's why I feel within a matter of 3.5 years, we should be able to get enough money, and I believe somewhere around $23 million to build that facility. The work that we have prepared for us and we have been studying, the facility would be located on property owned by the town in Veterans Park. The facility, the architectural design has been already noted, and we had our two state representatives, State Senator Berthel, State Representative Paletta with us today, and I asked them with the new session, and I'm sure they're going to be reelected, would they introduce legislation for the money from the state? And if you've been reading the paper, the state has a surplus. And now's the time to ask, can you help the town of Watertown? We may not be able to get 23 million, but I think I'd be happy with half, and maybe we have to bond. But I think we also have gotten money from our Congresswoman, Joanna Hayes, and we're very happy to have that for a new communication system, $3.5 million, and we have $3 million to finish work on an RSA study, road safety audit, that was back in 2016, which means more sidewalk, more protection in crosswalks with flashing beacons, and that is all in place. So I would not hesitate turning to our Congresswoman to ask her for some help for her town, which is in her district. Also, the very fact in the development, we are going to have a nice big tower there where our people who are dispatching people for 4 or 5 budding towns would have a location there. And there is money from the state to pay for those people who would work as dispatchers and with that particular high cell tower. And if you read the material, that is in there. So probably within 3.5 years, we could have a new police station that would do our town proud. Because I am sure Bethel and the police officers there are very proud of their station and always happy to go to work every day. We may get it. We have to work hard at it. We have 2 representatives, which will put forth in the assembly a resolution when the assembly meets again next year. And we will also make an effort to ask our Congresswoman if we could have some more of that federal money, and I say our federal money, to help us. We may have to bond as a town $10 million, which I think is doable for a new police station and for the people that work there every day and protect us every day. We're not always happy with what happens, whether it's noise, motorcycles, but we do try to resolve problems. And it's not an instant situation. It all has to be done because we are a society of laws and regulations. Maybe you don't like a truck on the sidewalk with an advertisement. We can assure you that we will work to try to solve the problem. It will not disappear overnight, but we will be working on it. And I can guarantee you all the people that were on the tour, and that was all people taking time out from work, time out for children, time out to go look at this station, and all the commissioners were there, and our 2 representatives were there, and the chief was there. So let me assure you, your voice is not unnoticed. We will try to help and solve the problem. Will it be solved in 1 day, 1 week? Will the truck be gone at the next celebration? I promised I will call down at the office and ask our town manager what can be done. We will try to solve problems. We just don't look away from the issue. And your problem, I'm sure, you have to live in that neighborhood, you have to put up with that noise, and you say, solve this problem.
Can I just say something?
I think you had that opportunity.
Okay. All right, thank you.
And meeting with the chief, we will get some feedback from him. And then we'll probably, at our next meeting next month, come on down. We'll be here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anybody else that would like to say anything? Anyone else would like to come to the mic? Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, sir. Please state your name and address.
Richard Rosansky, 35 Reynolds Street. You're talking about regionalization of dispatch? Is that on the table again?
It is a part and parcel of the development.
In other words, the town has made the decision
There has
to
been
regionalize dispatch?
There has been no decisions made at this time because we need a new police station for any efforts to be along those lines. What is your concern? I'm interested in that.
Well, regionalization of dispatch is a concern of a lot of citizens. So there are pros and cons. Most people I know are not in favor of it. But this was a surprise to me that it sounds as if in your discussion that we have plans. Those plans include a dispatch center that is designed to be a regional dispatch center. So
Ultimately, that would mean 4 or 5 towns would have to agree to it, and obviously, we're nowhere near that. I said we're working on a plan of 3.5 years, and I'm sure you'll be at that table again
Okay,
discussing that.
very good, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
we were in new business.
Next item is Jeffrey.
We were on 6A, new business. The next item would be 6B, new business.
Did we take, we did take the vote. 6A, that was a discussion. Anybody like to add anything more about the police station, the new station we visited?
Yes, I was fortunate to go, and it was just awesome, really awesome. And then the chief gave us a tour, two other commissioners and myself, of Watertown Police Station, and everything that the chair said is true. We need a new police station.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, through you.
Yes.
Obviously, I would be in favor of a new police station. It would be a huge benefit, not just to those members of the police department who work there 24/7, 365 days a year protecting us, but would also be a huge benefit to all the citizens in our town. We would all be able to get use out of it, the way that the building's going to be designed and other features, and in conjunction with Park and Rec Community Center, that's an option that's on the table. It would be more than just a benefit for our officers. It would be a benefit for the entire town.
It will be designed as a community police center, both. In fact, that's what the two legislators would introduce legislation next year along the lines with a community police station, where it would be a facility aiding the whole community, and senior citizens especially would be involved. Okay, we can move on. Item underneath new business, the discussion of a traffic sign over, actually traffic
Stop sign.
controlled stop sign. Chief, you want to say what kind of design we're going to have there? Four-way stop sign? What are we doing?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. A few weeks ago, the Public Works Department approached me stating that a resident who lives, I'm not sure if it was on Yale Street or Jeffrey Street, had approached the Public Works Department requesting a stop sign be placed at the intersection of Yale Street and Jeffrey Place due to vehicles trying to exit from Jeffrey Place onto Yale Street, having a difficult time with cars speeding around Yale Street, trying to avoid the traffic light at Main and Davis. Yale Street is a cut-through that goes from Main Street in Oakville around the backside of CVS and onto Davis Street. So if the light's red coming down Main Street in Oakville towards Davis Street, you could take a right-hand turn onto Yale and then get onto Davis Street and avoid the light. So during high traffic volumes, residents on that road state there's an increased traffic volume on Yale Street, just trying to avoid that intersection. In looking at that intersection myself, I believe that it's unsigned right now. Yale Street takes a 90-degree turn, and Jeffrey Place is more of a small driveway. Even though it's a public road, it looks and appears more like a small driveway. It services two residents and then dead ends. And it's a right-hand, it forms part of that T intersection at Yale Street and Jeffrey Place. Given that configuration, my recommendation, if the commission chooses to take action on installation of a stop sign, would be to make that an all-way stop for all three directions, because it's not a typical T intersection, and that the single main roadway takes up two legs of that intersection, a 90-degree portion of that intersection, rather than it being a straight intersection. If you know, the main road isn't straight. The main road curves to the right and forms two 90-degree legs of that intersection, which makes it untypical, and in my opinion, a three-way stop sign would be favorable.
Okay.
Motion that we install those stop signs for a three-way?
Is that a motion?
Motion.
Okay, do I have a second on the motion?
I'll second it.
Motion has been seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would just suggest that we wait until next meeting to take any action there, because it would allow time for members of the public, particularly people who live in that neighborhood, to come and speak about it if they wish to do so. It would also allow time for members of this commission to go take a look and consider the chief's recommendation.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion?
No, I was there yesterday and observed it all, and I agree with the chief.
I was also there yesterday and saw the situation. And let's see, Rich, I believe you were that.
I was there also, correct.
Do we want to table this matter? If somebody makes a motion, we can table it for our next meeting. Do I have a motion?
We already have a motion on the table, but I would be in favor of tabling this until the next meeting.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of tabling until the next meeting, say
Mr.
aye.
Chairman, the motion on the floor would be to install an all-way stop sign, so that would be the vote that's on the table at the moment.
That is on the table, on the motion. We can table that motion. Do we want to table the motion with the four-way stop sign?
Three-way.
Pardon me?
Three-way.
Three-way. Do I hear anybody? Hearing nothing, we'll take a vote on the three-way stop sign, which is recommended by the chief and the Public Works. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Hearing none.
Opposed?
One opposition,
Opposed as well.
two oppositions. All those in favor, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in favor, 2 opposed. Motion is carried. Any abstentions? 4 to 2. Motion is carried. All right, let us move forward. Next one is old business, and we have a lot of old business, and that's dealing with French Street and, of course, where school zones are. How are we doing on school zone signs?
So I sent a letter to the Department of Transportation's Engineering Division, which is responsible for establishing school zones on state roads, listed all of our schools, both public and parochial, that abut state-owned and maintained roadways, requesting that the Department of Transportation consider your request in establishing school zones without a speed limit change, which would allow for moving violation fines to be doubled in accordance with state statute. I have not yet received word back from the Department of Transportation. I have also met with Public Works Director Jerry Lukowski and Highway Superintendent Bob Grandpré. That's about 3 weeks ago now, and we went over a plan to install adequate signage on all of our town-owned roadways that abut school property. We are talking about the procurement of approximately 80 signs in order to make this work for every single one of the schools that are in our community, which makes this a fairly significant project for Public Works to take on. Of course, we're in the midst of their heavy work season right now during the summer, so they're going to be unable to really make this project appear before school starts in just a couple weeks. So we've discussed phasing this project in one school at a time. It's not just a matter of planting a sign right before and after. It also requires signage well before the school property, announcing that the school zone is ahead, then a sign where the school zone starts, another sign where the school zone ends. We have to make sure that the speed limit is adequately posted in that area so that enforcement action will hold up in the court when we do take enforcement action. So there's quite a bit of work to be done for each school, but they are working on procuring funds to make this happen, because it will be several $1,000s to procure all these signs. And then, of course, we need to have call before you dig come and mark out where each of these signs are going to be prior to the installation. So it is a bit of a project, but the initial discussions have been had, and the plan is to make this happen moving forward.
Do they have any kind of timetable that they would be able to give? Will it be in the fall, September?
So we're looking to sign the high school on French Street first. It's going to be the easiest of the schools to do, because there's only one town road that abuts that property. And we're going to do that one first, hopefully this fall. And when their work slows down in this construction season, hopefully we can move forward on some others, so long as they have funding to purchase the signs.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any members have any questions?
No.
Hearing none. The next item is
B.
Yeah, B, police chief.
Basically answered, yeah.
Yeah, basically, you're waiting on DOT or whoever. They're very slow. Okay, let's move on. Item number,
Tell them we gotta do seven.
number 8,
7C.
7C. That deals with the properties.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
we're on 7C, an old business discussion regarding the stop sign configuration at the intersection of Northfield Road, Wilson Street, and Miriam Lane.
I think that's been done. Am I correct,
No,
Chief?
we have not covered that yet.
No, Mr. Chairman, in the last meeting, the commission voted to table that until this meeting, providing the public adequate time to give any concerns or recommendations regarding that intersection. And to this date, I have not received any feedback from the public.
Also, I was up there June 30th going up to Sunset Grill. The signs have already been in place.
Yes, they were temporarily installed.
Was that it?
Yes.
Through the chair?
It's a temporary treeway until we,
It's a temporary?
Until
It's not
we-
in the ground, it's on a, like, whatever, yeah, or-
well, they're installed, but from what I understand from the chief, it's a temporary install.
Oh, okay, that's all, you know, I think it's a good idea, I'm in favor of it.
Mr. Chairman, through
Yeah.
you, I would like to make a motion to accept the chief's recommendation of a three-way stop at Northfield Road, Wilson Street, Miriam Lane. I did go up there, I did visit the site, and I do agree with the chief that a three-way stop is appropriate for this intersection. I would also state, just as an aside, that this commission should take the practice of allowing ample time for the public to give input on stop signs. Obviously, if there's an emergency situation that needs to be addressed, we can move a little quicker, but with this particular intersection, Northfield Road, Wilson Street, Miriam Lane, we've allowed at least 2 months for the public to have an opportunity to come down to address the commission. So again, my motion is to accept the chief's recommendation of a three-way stop sign at the intersection of Northfield Road, Wilson Street, and Miriam Lane.
Second.
The motion has been seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstention? Motion is carried unanimously.
Through the chair,
Yes,
I just wanted to let the chief know, I've lived up there in that area for my entire life. I'm back when there was no stop signs, and I was hesitant when you said there was going to be 3 stop signs. Absolutely love it. And the way they configured the road as well. It's a beautiful job. The stop signs are perfect, and thank you.
Terrific, thank you.
any other comments? Hearing none, move on to item number 8, Chairman's comments. I'd just like to comment on the great job done by our department in ferreting out illegal sales of drugs, marijuana, and other narcotics in the various cigar stores. And that was a great job, Chief. Your staff should be commended. Okay, item number 9. Police monthly report. Everybody should have gotten it in the mail. Chief, you want to read?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You should have my monthly report for your review. As you notice with our statistics, our traffic enforcement has been significant over the past number of months. The Watertown Police Department, as have many police departments in the state of Connecticut, received what I would consider an unprecedented amount of state and federal money for the purpose of doing traffic enforcement, in particular speed enforcement on selected rural roads, DUI enforcement, seatbelt enforcement, and distracted driving enforcement, which would be observing operators holding electronic devices in their hands while operating a motor vehicle. We have issued hundreds of infractions over this time and have received mostly positive feedback from the community, with the exception of a few people upset that they received a ticket. My report for the month of August, as far as our staffing, we remain fully staffed with 42 sworn members of the department. Of these 42, one is completing his field training period this week and will be assigned a patrol shift. We continue to participate in all the traffic-related grants that I just mentioned: the rural road speed enforcement, driving under the influence, the motor vehicle theft and crime suppression grant, which was funded with COVID relief money, as well as click it or ticket and distracted driving campaigns. And lastly, to inform the Commission on efforts within the state, and the Watertown Police Department is endorsing this effort and sending an officer for specific training on this effort, is phlebotomy. Historically, for enforcing driving under the influence, we have primarily relied on both breath and urine tests to collect evidence in DUI cases. With the legalization of cannabis products, has really brought the evidence collection in DUI cases under a lot of difficult scrutiny. Breath, obviously, is not going to detect the presence of marijuana or other drugs that may be impairing a driver's ability to operate a motor vehicle. The state lab has informed us that they're going to be discontinuing urine analysis sometime. They say the near future, but they're not giving a date, so we don't know when that's going to be. And whenever we do take urine, what they have to do is scientific conversion to compare the presence of drugs and alcohol in the urine to what it would be in the blood. So the gold standard in evidence is blood, because both breath and urine compare those samples to what the actual alcohol or drug content is in the blood of the operator. And as officers, we have a 2-hour window from the time observation is observed with a operator that we arrest for a DUI and the time we are able to actually collect the evidence sample from that operator. The statewide DUI task force has collectively decided that the only way we're going to ever get good evidence of DUI that will be able to be presented to the prosecution for a successful prosecution is to obtain the blood of an operator of a vehicle that's been arrested for DUI. The only 2 ways we can do that is either through consent or through warrant. And consent's great, but through a warrant, the 2-hour window goes really fast. So legislatively, they're working on solving that through using electronic warrant systems, where we'll be able, right through the MDT of the vehicle, to fill in a Dropbox style e-warrant and have that signed off within minutes by a judge, and then be able to obtain the blood. Now, hospitals don't have to follow our search warrants, which means the police are going to be the ones that have to draw the blood.
Phlebotomist training.
So we are moving towards what's called the police phlebotomy program in the state of Connecticut. The state has already trained 16 officers. There's another 6 in the class right now, and Watertown will be adding an officer to a class starting in September. Officer Adrian Rinaldi has volunteered and been selected to attend that training. They have to do 100 successful blood draws and go through a course to become licensed as a phlebotomist in the state of Connecticut, and then do so many blood draws and continue training each year to maintain that licensing through the Department of Public Health. But in so doing, whenever we do get a DUI case, either a major accident or other means, we'll be able to do a warrant quickly or ask for consent and actually be able to get the blood directly from the operator. So just wanted to inform the commission from a traffic safety standpoint, it's where the state of Connecticut is moving towards a police phlebotomy program, and we will be participating.
Chief, one quick question.
Please.
You have a phlebotomist certified, officer certified as a phlebotomist, and you get the search warrant. What if the person is not cooperative? You're going to forcibly take it?
That's correct.
And there's training on how to forcibly take it?
That's correct. In participation in this course, we actually get provided a chair that would be able to be utilized for phlebotomy.
Wow. Interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for the chief?
I have one more question
Yes.
for the chief. You have a whole big bunch of written warnings for speeding. I don't know, from my day, when you were speeding, you got a ticket, you went to court, you paid your fine, and then you started thinking, I don't want to be caught again. It cost me a lot of money, a day from work and everything. Why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we just giving them a ticket and send them to court? They'll learn faster.
So I think the foundation of the criminal justice system in the state of Connecticut is discretion. Police officers have discretion as to what type of enforcement they can give. They know when they're working the grant overtime, the preferred enforcement action is absolutely an infraction. But it is illegal in the state of Connecticut for us to provide any quotas or mandates to our police officers as to what type and how much enforcement action officers take on traffic enforcement. So there is a lot of that relies simply on the judgment of that officer as to what they feel is an appropriate level of enforcement to change the behavior of that particular operator. Sometimes it's a warning, sometimes it's a ticket, and if the statutes apply, it's a misdemeanor summons.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Hearing none, a motion is in order.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Motion is made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is carried unanimously.